Tonight was more so, thank you, Val. Tonight was more so for people wanting to make the 200 to $250,000 number pretty quickly. Cause I know we have some individuals that we spoke with, myself included. I know Blair has spoken to some different ones. Doug, you as well, that's a number that's needed to be made. And I know it's, to me, that was a crazy number to ever think of, because I personally, as I tell you a little bit about my story, I never made $50,000 before I got into insurance. And thankfully, only a year and a half into my career, I found NASB. And it's so funny that I think Blair, was I telling you this? But the company that I started with, they were doing about $6 million of business, and they probably had 60 some agents. I am the only agent of those 60 that made it. And I really do believe it's because I did not stay with that sinking ship. And not that it was a bad company, but I do believe that you have to really enjoy where you're working. You have to see some vision outside of it just being, what people are saying, how great things are. It has to be in the results, or the proofs in the pudding. So going back to who I am, I'm an agent here that just worked hard, and one cool thing about our company is you can make partner, kind of like a law firm. You can own stock in NASB, which is now Stock and Integrity, as they partnered with us, which is an unbelievable opportunity. But what was a great opportunity for me, I was looking to actually have more freedom. And I'm going to talk about 4 different things tonight. But freedom is what attracted me. It wasn't the money, it wasn't the finances. And as I look back, what's really helped me stay consistent and actually get back to my same working hours that I had before insurance that I wanted to get into was the finances, was seeing that I can accelerate retirement extremely. And, I found the business at 22, 23. I'm 34 now. So I've been in it going on 12 years. And it's been amazing. But there's 4 things that I want to talk about that I know separates North American Senior Benefits than most other IMOs or insurance companies out there, because there's thousands to choose from. But believe it or not, I would say in the last 4 to 5 years, what we have done, NASB has done, because this is our 10th year anniversary, what we've done is put us in, the top 2 nationally for providing final expense to the senior market. That's the middle to low income. And I'll talk about that. And look, I'm so happy I had different individuals that might share depending on how long I do go. It's 9:04, so I got to get on and get to this. But there's 4 P's that we really talk about that helps us stand out, that helps this industry stand out. And the first one is the product. So what we provide, everybody that's listening to me, you should know that we're providing life insurance. Now, we are a national brokerage. One thing that really attracted me and made me feel comfortable coming to North American Senior Benefits was the parent company that created this sector, the senior sector. They were 65 years old, maybe 64 years old back then. They're over 70 years old now. They're one of the oldest national brokerages in the South, outside of Atlanta and Lawrenceville, Georgia. That mattered to me. And I was only 22, 23, but I wanted to have a stable place that I was going to. And the history of final expense is simply you follow the history of baby boomers. That's who we deal with. That's who we sell our product to. That's who's reaching out to us. And if you followed wherever baby boomers have gone, there's never a lack of opportunity if you're providing them something they need or they want. Simple as that. It comes down to, well, how can I get in front of those people, and how good is my product? And for me, I never wanted to do sales. I wanted to be able to provide my service. And if I had a service that I was providing or a product, I wanted to be able to stand behind it, know that it was something worth their investment, worth their purchase. And as a landscaper, they liked the way their yard looked, or the shrubs that were terrible that I pulled out and put nicer ones in. And people loved to pay me. And what was so crazy about this business, in my first 2 ride-alongs, people were hugging us. They were thanking us. Some even cried with us. I couldn't believe that I could go into a house and make $800, $1,000, and people were happy. That's what's so crazy to me. And going back to just the security of this business, I first heard a good friend of mine that got me in the business. He got in the business around 08, more around 09, back around that terrible time in the US, where a lot of companies' jobs went non-existent, and final expense grew. That's when it started, mainly because those baby boomers turned 65. we thankfully were essential by the Department of Health through COVID. And as a lot of people were losing their jobs, as a lot of people could not work, some didn't want to, others did, we found an amazing amount of individuals that maybe never would have chose this industry that it's changed their life in a short 2 years. And that's what this opportunity is all about. What I'm so passionate about, I would say, is how quick people can come into this industry, come into this company, not knowing anything about sales or anything about insurance, and immediately your first year make 6 figures, if not $200,000 plus income. That's if you're willing to work 40 to 50 hours, I would say is more towards the 200,000. If you're willing to work 40, most of our agents, I would say our average agent at this company does not work 4 days or 5 days. They work 3.5 to 4 days. So something to look forward to, not in 5 or 10 years, but definitely I would say in the first 6 to 12 months. So next, I want to talk about the platform about North American Senior Benefits. So what's special about NASB is we have the leads. Like I always say, leads and leadership is what's lacking. And where I got that from is not from what I figured out or what I thought I needed. It was from the countless calls when I about 3 years into my career, when I knew that I was really good at this business. It took me time to develop, but when I knew I was above average and I outlasted people that mentored me, that's when I started to get into building a team, building my own office, helping individuals stick in this long enough to where they could see how amazing this could be for them. And what I got about leads and leadership is out of the thousands of calls and conversations I had for people in the business that were struggling, that didn't do in 10 years what I was able to be taught to do in 2 years, was leads and leadership. People in this industry do not have. And what's so special about NASB is we brought our leads in-house about probably 5, maybe 6 years ago. And what that's helped us with is out of all of the IMOs in the country with Integrity right now, we're the only one with the most lead options for the final expense market than any others, which simply means that we're able to get more responders in any given area. I live in Akron, Canton, Ohio. It's actually Uniontown. Can you believe it or not? Little Akron and Canton, Ohio. I've never had to travel outside of 35, maybe 40 minutes of my house, ever. Never had to. Now, I actually like to travel. So I like to go to Pittsburgh 2 hours away and work. I like to go up to Cleveland an hour to work. I sometimes like to go travel to a different state and work, and you can do that. But what's great, and when I talk to people, depending on where you're at, is if you have seniors, older, middle to low income around you, this is not a road warrior position. This is not a weekends away from family if you have family position. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. And that's what I would say is so special, because I do talk to a lot of salespeople that do well, but they miss a lot of kids' sports. They miss a lot of holidays. That's not us. And I really am passionate about what NASB has put together, because it's mainly built around the leads. We are able to get you in front of 4 to 5 people every day. And that's usually in the same zip code every week, maybe 2 to 3 zip codes, depending on where you're living. But that's impressive when you're driving 3 to 5 minutes from house to lead to lead. Let's say lead to lead, not house to house, but from lead to lead. It makes your efficiency that much better. When it comes to the leads as well, when it comes to the investment, what's a special thing about NASB, that it was like that from day one and it stayed that way, is how we don't have to, as agents, we don't have to pay up front for clients. The company will upfront the money to say, where would you like to work? We'll tell you the data of that area that you're responding to. And if there's leads there, great. We know that we can pull 50 a week. Well, you only want 20? Not a problem. We will get the leads, which is as much as the postal stamps going up. It's expensive, but NASB subsidizes every lead, which simply means we cannot do that unless we're making sure to train our agents well above average. So our agents here close 1 out of every 3 presentations. That's not above average. That's not our great agents. That's our average agents. Of course, there's agents in the industry, definitely here, that close 100%. Some close 150% of who they sit down with, because they sell the husband, the wife, the family. They work referrals. And I've met very few people in my 12 years in this industry I've met very few people that can simply do this business at a high level, meaning a six-figure income, and have weekends off when they're always having to hunt and find what they're trying to hunt for. And with us, we don't have to hunt. We know where we can go to get it. And that is so special, and it's so rare in this business. Being part of a brokerage as well is nothing special, right? There's a lot of brokerages out there. What is special about us being a broker is we have the right products for the different health concerns. We're dealing with seniors, right? We're not dealing with, I want to say retirees. We're not dealing with newly graduated folks or new homeowners that are maybe in their 30s or 40s. We're dealing with the 55 to 65, the 75. Those people have more health ailments. They have more medications that they take. That's the whole point of us being a brokerage, is we are tailor fitting these products around their situation. And it's so funny because I do a lot of in-and-up calls, which is part of our system. When if you're a newer agent and you haven't written 2,000 applications, it's hard for you to know where to go and why. And when you're with a client, yeah, you can do some research. You can set a second or a third appointment to come back. Not here. When you're your first week in the business compared to your 100th week in the business, your sales time is still about an hour to an hour and a half in each and every house. Because when you call up to us, we're able to tell you in the moment where you need to go, explain why for you and the client to hear. So every time that you do that, you're learning and you're getting further on your own, but it does not take you months or weeks or hundreds of applications to write. The business is always changing, so it's good to have those people in your back pocket. That really accelerates, I would say, the income growth for our agents. Because yeah, I talk to a lot of agents where they have to email their manager that knows more than they do, and they'll get an email back in days. There's companies out there that you have a conference call once a week to bring client concerning questions to. When it comes to our managers, when it comes to the mentors, the people that are getting you in the car, they're answering your call 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times a day. And you have 4, 5, 6 other people just like them with as much knowledge that you have to reach out to. That's how serious we take that aspect or that part of our 10 steps in our presentation, because it simply works. And companies just don't do it. And the reason why is the person that's answering that phone call, they have to be available. They have to be on call. And what's great about NASB is they weren't forced in that position. They did it because they wanted to. For me, it took me 3 years to say, you know what? I want to be that person. I've been given so much. My life's different. My freedom's amazing. It took me 3 years. We have some people that do it in 3 weeks, six months. That's totally up to you, right? Let's go on to the people. And I would say for me, this is what hits home the most. I was, sports was a big part of my life, not career, but life. And teams, I love to be part of teams. I didn't need people to tell me to get up to go to work. I didn't need people to tell me to get up and practice or make sure you go to practice or stay late and practice some more. I didn't need that. What I did really appreciate is when I was with that team, when I was within that culture, when I was wearing a jersey that other people wore, that they were like-minded, they thought the same way I did. They had very similar goals and that we pushed each other. That is what I know is so rare in a sports team that I did up through college compared to in a business. So going back to those two things I told you that I got from my thousands of calls of talking to people that were struggling in their W-2 position or their independent position, or in our industry was leads and leadership. I talked about leads, but leadership, I think it matters who's leading you. First of all, you have to trust that they know where they're taking you. Some people, no offense, nothing against, volunteer coaches, but you don't see too many volunteer coaches at the college level. You don't see volunteer coaches at the professional level. This job is a professional level job. So the people that are in your corner, they are earning what you want to earn. They are. If they aren't, no offense, we don't allow them to mentor you. But just because I'm not saying they can't help you, but how are they going to get you to somewhere that they're not at? And that's something that our co-founder that I thankfully got to work directly with for a good bit of years was so passionate about. It's not that they don't know enough. Look, it's hard for somebody to take you where they've never been. So when it comes to us duplicating and finding these quarterbacks and managers, we really consistently have those conversations with them. So it's good to know that depending on what you're looking to make or freedom you're looking to earn, it's hard to have freedom without finances, but the person in your corner, which is multiple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, they're all at that level in life. They're all at that level in this business. So you should feel more comfortable. So being a part of a winning team is always nicer when you have more W's than you have losses. And for here, we are a winning team. And Val did some numbers for me. We grew for the first 6 months in 2022. We were up 29%. And believe it or not, I wrote this down. So far in our first 6 months, we've already had 22 new people with us in 2022 that are on pace to make $100,000. These are brand new agents with us. That's crazy, because that means for the year, we'll have 44 if we keep up this pace. And I did a Zoom call last night with our managers. I want us to grow by 50%. I really think we can, especially what's going on in the industry, in the market. Just as jobs, people are scared. And what has been so stable in my 12 years is this business, because our clients, guess what? They don't have jobs. We're not asking for mortgage payments. We're asking for $65, $85 a month to protect their family. They get a guaranteed check. They will until they pass away. That's what we're working with. We're not working with investments that can go up and down like the market. We do with something that has been as steady as anything that I've ever seen. And as I get older, I continue to appreciate it more and more. And that does matter, because I see some people that might be 40 plus. I see some people that might be 20 plus. To know that you have job security, you know that this will be around. We're right in the middle of this baby boomer wave. I've been in it for 12 years. So there's another 10 to 12 years left. And what's special about that is being part of a team where you have that communication, you have that culture. They're going to take you to where they are and where they're going. And you plug into a daily conference call literally every morning for 30 minutes. Like, that's our come to office. We don't have offices. You work from your home office. You work from your car where you want to. And if you like that freedom, you'll do great here. Some people need that. And if that's the case for you, I know we're not for everybody, but you have to be independently motivated. You have to be independently driven. And yeah, you have to be good at managing your time and saying no to the right things when you have to say yes to certain things. My last point, I would say, is the right percentage. So the income that we earn and how we get paid. It's a very common question that people say, was this commission only? It's not commission only. We get paid 3 ways. Now, you're commission only for the first 9 months, but that's the last 9 months ever that you're only commission only. Now, commissions is your majority of your income, and I'm going to break down what we've used for the last 10 years, and it's definitely changed, but I don't want to tell you about the positive change. I want to go back to when we started, but we get paid 3 ways. You get paid commission, you get paid back end is what we call in the business, which is really like a salary. That starts once you get the month 10 for the rest of your career. And then the third income stream, which actually attracted me the most, was the residual income. I was not looking to get into something and try it for 2 years, then bounce over to something else. I did landscaping my whole life. I honestly thought I would be doing that the rest of my life. So when I saw that I could get paid a portion of every plant that I planted that was still living, every pond that I built, or any waterfall that was still in function, or patio that was still in use, I could get a small portion of that. Me being, not an entrepreneur, but I was a business owner. That's how I was kind of raised. It made so much sense to me. And what I didn't know then, what I know now, is we're selling a product that these people need more now than ever. And every year they get older, they can't change it. It's not like health insurance. They can't drop it and pick it up from somebody else. They need it because, first of all, as a national brokerage, we're selling them the best plan up front. So as they get older, their health doesn't get better as you get older. I haven't met one yet. It may stay, pretty good, but as their age goes up, premiums go up. But we're selling plans that lock in and never change. That's why we keep so much of our business. I think it's 88 or 90% is the NASB's national average of what you keep from what you write. Of course, we have agents that keep 95+%. You're doing a little bit more work, more thank you cards, but hey, it keeps you paid and it brings in new premium. I want to break down those 3 income streams as it's 920. Doug, I want to come to you maybe after that. Maybe Joe Betterman, a couple $250,000 earners. One's a little bit more seasoned, one a little bit younger, which I think is a good little taste for who's on the call tonight. But something that we've always preached of, how do you get to $100,000, $150,000 immediately year one? This is how. We've always preached collecting $67 a day. If you guys remember what I said just a little bit ago, we're not rolling over IRAs or annuities. We're not looking for big, fat investments. We're looking for somebody that's willing to spend for their loved one, for their spouse, for their family, $67 a day. If you remember what I said earlier, our system, our lead system with our leadership and mentorship gets you to present to 4 to 5 people a day. If you're willing to work 8 hours, you're presenting to 4 to 5 people a day. Our average agent, guess what? I said it earlier, closes 1 out of every 3 presentations, which means if you're willing to work 8 hours, you're going to make a sale a day. Now, our average sale now is actually more towards $85 to $95, but I'm going to keep it right at 67. If you're willing to work a full day, 5 days a week, you catch a sale of $67 a day, you times that by 5, that means your week really ends once you collect $335 of monthly premium. That's it. That's like 3 cable bills. It's not that much. That's 2 different husband and wife combos paying $100 each, and you're over hitting your goal. $335 is all that you have to collect. Now that may sound hard, that may sound easy. That's what our ride-alongs are for, but we get paid off of the 12 months of that premium. So you take $335, you multiply that by 12. That gives you the annualized premium, what the client's paying a year. That's how we get paid. That's how our 3 income streams are based off of. So when you do that math, 67 times 5, which is 335 times 12, that's 4,020. And if you guys have listened into any of our calls, our morning 30-minute calls, we hear from the top agents that wrote the most business from the day before. $4,020 of AP is your goal for 5 days. We have people doing that in 1 day. Everybody that speaks on the morning call goes over $4,000 in 1 day. So it can be done in 1 day, but we're asking you to do it in 5. Income stream number 1 is a brand new agent. Brand new agent is 70 to 80% that you get of that number. So you take 4,020, you times it, let's just say in the middle at 75% by 0.75. That means that you earn $3,015. Now, what's great about income stream number 1 is it is paid to you within 24 to 72 hours. These applications we're taking, you're not filling out a paper app, sending it in and waiting for 2 weeks to get it approved. It's an e-app, it's a phone review. It's getting approved within 15 to 20 minutes for probably 85% of the carriers that we use. That's not like what it used to be, Blair, right? When we had to do the paper apps, it still paid us quick, but it took 4, 5, 6, 7 business days to get approved. You're leaving the house, the client, the people that we're serving, knowing that they're approved for the product. All T's are crossed, all I's are dotted. That matters because that means it gets you paid very quickly. Your cash flow is coming in very quickly. So 3,015 as a brand new agent, you get advanced 9 months of your commissions. That's what you get advanced upfront. Well, 9 out of 12 months is 75%. So you take that 3,015, you times it by 0.75. So income stream number 1 that you get paid within 24 to 72 hours is $2,261. So $2,261. That is what you get paid within 24 to 72 hours. And if you work 48 weeks out of the year, so you have a whole month off, not saying you have to, that simply comes out to be $108,540. And that is for income stream number 1. Now that is income stream number 1, which pays you, again, I keep saying this, but within 24 to 72 hours. Now, once you get to month 9, and then for the rest of your career, what changes is you still get your commissions for all future sales that you're going to be making, but you also now get paid back that 25%. That's what we call as back-end pay, or really salary in the business, because you get paid that every month. As long as you still do your job, just like a W-2 position. If you stop working, you're going to get fired. What's nice about ours is once you're 6 months to 12 months in, definitely 12 months in, you're not having to work as hard to create the same amount of $335 of weekly premium. It's coming in from different avenues, different angles, different clientele. But going back to that difference of 3,015, remember, you already got paid out that 9 months up front. So the difference of months 10, 11, and 12 is $754. So income stream number 2, what we call as back-end pay or salary, is $754 you get every week, months 10, 11, and 12. So you remember, you worked 48 weeks out of the year. You take $754 times 48 weeks. That's a $36,000 salary. Pretty miserable salary. I understand that's the middle of the 3 incomes. But what that does is, honestly, it pays people's kids' school, it pays your mortgage, it pays your health insurance, pays your cars, whatever you have as bills. That's something that comes in without you having to do anything. And what's nice about how our clients pay, we're not dealing with people that work different jobs and different pay. We work with people that are getting paid on the first and the third of the month. So that deposit comes in really once a month. So you're getting anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 of back end pay, salary pay every month from month 10 for the rest of your career. So that's income stream number one and number two. So right there, that puts you over 140,000. Income stream number three, which is what I told you earlier, was what attracted me the most, was the residual, a compounding residual. And with final expense insurance, it's not like health insurance. It's definitely not like mortgage where there is none. It's a healthy 4, 5, 6% of your total business. So going back to remember, if you collected $67 a day, 5 days a week, that's about $192,000 of annualized premium that you wrote for the year. 5% of that is over $9,600. So your residual income number three, which is a compounding income, is right around $9,000 to $10,000 a year. And you start receiving that as soon after month 12. So after your 12th month, that does not take an effect until the 24th month. It starts month 13. And then for the rest of your career, you're getting income stream number one, income stream number two, income stream number three. And that's when the business, when I say it gets really fun, you're noticing obviously higher deposits. And that honestly is a time where a lot of agents pull back. And it's like you're 1 year in, just keep to 40 hours if you can. But if you're hitting the goals that you wanted, we're happy, right? We just want to keep you on track and not have you deviate or go off the road too far. But those are the three income streams that we have. It sounds easy. You can't fudge the numbers. What's not easy is for a company or for a person that tells you that is to say, you know what? If you're someone interested, just get in our car and we'll show you what we do. Doug, I want to come to you. You were one of the few individuals that came from any job where I remember talking to you and you're at that level, you're 20 plus years in communications, making $250,000 a year. And at that time in my career, I was making that, and you drove 8 hours back when gas was a lot cheaper, but to see me do my job. Can you just tell your story very quickly, because you've been a staple with NASB, with the Sales Mafia, and you've been with us going on 7 years. But real quickly, how long did it take you in the corporate world to get to that financial level? And then how quickly were you able to duplicate that here?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking 15, but it's probably closer to 20 years. I mean, I started in communications right out of college. So yeah, I mean, it was probably 20 years to hit that. And that was a good salary. That was an executive level salary. So it took, 2.5, 3 years to replace that on this end. I mean, shoot, there are younger guys now doing that even quicker. So training has only gotten better over the last 7 years, and resources. And but yeah, I mean, for me, what was important was, I wanted to find a place where I could be mentored and coached and had resources to get off the ground quickly, because I had bills that were based off that income. So I couldn't wait around. So yeah, that's why I drove 8 hours. It was probably more like 9 hours, but yeah, I mean, it was good. I mean, the very first house we went to, just like you said, we hour and a half later, walking out of this woman's house, I didn't know what was going on, but all I know is she was giving us hugs, saying, thank you. God sent you me today. And I turned to you and I said, what just happened? And, you explained it, got a loan forgiven, got her cash back, got her a new policy. It was life-changing for her. And all I could think of is, wait a minute, you just made $1,000 starting commission, had that impact on her, and she's giving you hugs. And in my mind, being older, having been in corporate America for too long, I'm like, nobody ever walked out of a boardroom giving me hugs. Not that I need it, but having that satisfaction of actually doing something that helped somebody was huge. So yeah, I wish I would have found this a lot longer, a lot earlier.
Let me ask you one last question. I want to maybe come to Joe, and then we'll disperse for tonight. You've been in this business a lot longer than most. You've seen people come off the quick starts. You've mentored people that've been off the quick starts. I would say I did this call because I think there's a handful, maybe 2 handfuls of people that need to get off to a quick start. What was a couple things that you saw back when you did it? Obviously, as the system's gotten better, the more local support has gotten better. That is really something that they may overlook or have not been a part of in a company or a team before, that they can get here. They just have to know it exists.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to be a self-starter. You've got to be self-disciplined, before you get out there, do your legwork, study, practice, lean on your coaches. But once you get out there, I mean, you've got to be self-disciplined to get out the door. You don't have a boss telling you to go punch in, and you've got to be resilient. I mean, you've got to be able to deal with the no's, deal with the ups and downs, and I think I do a pretty good job of staying even keel. So I try not to get too high or too low, and just keep plugging away. But I think communication is key. Once you're out there, I probably called you more than you ever wanted to hear from me, and some of the other coaches were helping me at the time. But I think that's key. I think, people that over communicate, you can never communicate too much in this environment, because you've got coaches and mentors that are there to support you. They're not bosses. They want to see you succeed. The more you talk, the more you call and ask for feedback, the faster you're going to get off the ground, earning that income.
Cool. Well, Joe, let me come to you. You may have just finished up with a sale, but I appreciate you hopping on. I love your start. Completely different, right? So you got Doug at one end of the spectrum, which, is very few out there. And then you got other people like Joe, which is, I would say, very common. You get people out of college, maybe in college, that are looking for a job, not sure what they wanted to do. Joe, you've been one of the very few that, when I say started in college, or I would even say part-time with us, that you were able to make that transition, which is not easy, right? It's not 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I really believe with as quickly as you can get paid, why not jump all in? I understand there's some, situations where if it's guaranteed money that you have, but we earn guaranteed money if you will present to 20 to 25 people and you get paid that week. You're at that $250,000 number as well. I may be underballing that. I'm not sure where you'll be at, but please let us know at the end of this year what you're on track for. You started with in college. I think this is your second full year.
Yeah. So I started towards the end of my sophomore year of college, and really I was coming from an opportunity that just was another insurance gig. They told me all about the promised land, but couldn't take me there. And ended up getting burned from that, found you guys, and just kind of watched from the sidelines for a while, a little bit of just watching to see, doing it part-time, going out here and there, making a sale, and, $500 to $1,000 goes a long way when you're in college. It buys a lot of beer. But my senior year of college, I fell in love with my now wife, and I was like, she was a couple years older than me, and I felt the fire under my butt to get moving and actually go do something. And I saw guys on the team, making a ton of money at the same age as me, and I was close to finishing college, and I was like, what am I even trying to do this for? And I had about a semester left, so I dropped out. And that first summer, bought my wife a ring, and, it was able to do it in cash and, pay off some bills and stuff. And then that was end of 2019. And 2020 was supposed to be my first big year. I still made about 95,000, but that was working about 7 months. And, my brother had passed away earlier in the year, and obviously 2020 was a hard year for a lot of people. So yeah, I like to say to people, my first full-time year going at it was last year, 2021. I made 213,000 last year. And this year I'm on track over 300. My goal's 4. I'm trying to hit it, but I'm on track over 300 so far this year. You're on mute.
Same question with you that I asked Doug. So being younger, right, and not having to make that income, you've been a great student of this industry. I think younger people are, you always look at different things, you see different things. Like you pick your phone up and you got 15 different, people trying to tell you about what they're doing. You've been smart enough as young as you've been to stay the course with the right company. And I told you guys that earlier. I'm the only one left of that company that I started with. That was a good company. They had a lot of great agents, but they stayed with a sinking ship. And it wasn't sinking when I was there, but I just saw things that I did not see them taking me to where I wanted to go. And thankfully, and I'm so thankful that I found a company at my age, not really knowing what I was specifically looking for. I just want to be a part of that. And you found that, but you were smart enough to stay the course. And, you've the same way with Doug, you've not only done it yourself, but then what we say here is what you can't teach what you can't do. If you can write $10,000 in a week, well, you can teach somebody to, but if you're only writing 4,000, you can't teach somebody to write 8,000. And you've been able to do that and reproduce it. So for some people that are needing to get, or would love to for the first time in their life, to get to a number that you never made before. And I would have to say that I doubt you ever thought you'd make 300,000 before your 30s. You're 20, what, 25?
25. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is, being on the sidelines for as long as I was, and now being a part of the company full time, so many people don't really value mentorship and being a part of a winning team. And, I say this to my new people coming on. I don't know anybody who's been here longer than 3 years that isn't making over $200,000. And that's just to speak to the fact of consistency and hard work, because a lot of people don't want to go out and, talk to these seniors. Maybe they let their attention go other places, but something we always kind of say here is just, we are specializing in this senior market. And there's just such a massive opportunity there. Like Doug said, you just get so much gratification by finding that those nice ladies or gentlemen that, you're a lifesaver to them. And, the fact that you can make 1,000 plus or whatever on any given day is a huge thing. And that's something, when in the early days, my dad always told me to stick with this, just because he's like, worst case scenario, Joe, you go do something else and you have a skill where on any given weekend you can go out and make $1,000. And I just figured, why not make $1,000 every day? And that's why I'm here. But yeah, mentorship is everything, and having that culture that, a raising tide rises all the ships,
Well, and one thing, I don't want you to mishear this, because what has really set us apart and why our agents pound for pound are just higher earners. We don't hire a lot. We don't. When I say we can't, of course we can. But when it comes back to what I said about our leads, we can't just drop million. Like, we lost $4.5 million in leads last year. We can't do that. But we're doing that in different markets that we're not in and that we're growing. But also we're losing a lot of those millions because we're subsidizing our lead program. Now, we make it up once our agents are better trained and they're selling more than the average agent, because our agents here earn more than the average agent. But the reason that we're able to, I want to say guarantee it, we don't hire 15 agents in a market that data-wise can fit 7. That's not what we do. That's what honestly most of our competitors or other people in the industry, they have to keep hiring because they keep losing. And Joe, I love what you said is, you don't know anybody that's been here as long as you have that's not making at least 200,000. That's true, because we keep, like, people that enjoy us, that enjoy the job, they work here and they stay working here and they enjoy working here. And I know this job's not for everybody. That's why we do the ride-alongs. But if you do a ride-along and you see what we do, and if you get that gratification, if you can see yourself doing it, we say, look, we look for people to plant flags in markets, and we're in an area that can fit 10. We hire one at a time, and there's no race to hire to get to 10 or to 15 or to 5 or to 4. Doesn't matter to us. They come as they come. It's worked that way for us so well, and we're going to stick with what keeps winning us championships and getting those W's on the board. So, guys, I went a little bit long, but thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, reach out to myself or whoever invited you to this. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, for Doug, for just giving your story a little bit. But guys, have a good night and have a great weekend this weekend.